Oh God. So hey, what's up YouTube? I guess this is my quarantine comeback video. So as you've seen, I have a squat rack, a barbell, a bench press, and pretty much I could do the squat bench deadlift combination at home. I'm not completely accepting the L like last quarantine. This lockdown, my brother and I decided to invest into a home gym, and so we did as needed. A lot has happened since purchasing this big investment. Big for me because I'm still a student. And so I kind of want to speak about something that I thought was interesting, a topic that I thought everyone could kind of relate in a time like this, and that's to regress is to progress. Have you ever heard taking one step backwards to take two steps forward? You know that old saying? Well, that's pretty much the same ideology that I'm trying to get at, where quarantine is a big setback for everyone, including myself, despite having this beautiful setup in my mom's living room. Me being the smart guy, when we decided to set up our home gym, I decided to carry that. You see that mat, that horse stall mat? I decided to carry that by myself because I was getting frustrated. I wanted to pick up the speed into building our home gym together. So I put that on my head and I pretty much strained my back putting the horse mat, and I didn't really feel it up until I did my squats. I tried going back right onto program. To be honest, that's a big mistake. I feel like the most critical period in one's training career is not the end of their training cycle, but the beginning, getting used to the volume, getting used to the frequency, getting used to the rep schemes. And so I did the inconsiderate thing to my lack of a week off. I pretty much just went back to training. Honestly, that's not the greatest idea when you take time off. The best thing to do is when you take time off, you need to rebuild back, even if it's extremely submaximal, because although your muscles, your leg muscles might feel good, you might have other inconsistencies. For example, you might not be in the right mindset because you're training at home. Not the same vibes, not the same training environment. You may physically have aches in some places, like your lower back from studying or sitting all day. So you end up in a volatile state and you keep trying to push it and you get injured. That's pretty much a very basic summary of what happened to myself. I got a little strained from doing something else in lifting, and then I went into my squat day and everything got worse. It's a little unfortunate because I spent so much money on this stuff and I didn't even get to make good use with it. Taking time off was actually good timing in a sense because I had to study for some exams. And so my focus went from training, social media and all that stuff straight out from that subgroup into my studies and pretty much my career. So I guess what I want to say is don't let your ego get in the way. I kind of let my ego in a sense get in the way. I overestimated what I was capable of on the first week back. You're way better off going into lighter weights. I know it sounds super repetitive, like a broken record playing over and over again, but don't take your body for granted. It only takes one injury to screw up a whole training cycle. It only takes one injury to be out for months. I'm thankful that whatever happened to my back was nothing super serious, and very fortunate that it doesn't hurt anymore. And I'm very fortunate that it's pretty much healed. Well, I think it's healed. I didn't feel it earlier squatting. And honestly, it was so tempting to go heavier today on squats because I did feel really good. Today's squat session was amazing. I did 385 for 2 sets of 5, felt like an RP 5-ish, and I did 365 for 2 sets of 5. I was supposed to do 6 reps, but technically I am in like a deload / retraining phase. So I'm not necessarily really looking at the numbers. I'm just trying to build up my frequency again so that I can get used to training, because I did take 2 weeks off to study for my midterm exams. Taking 2 weeks off actually feels pretty untrained. Like 2 weeks off actually feels pretty massive considering I was pretty much peaked out of my mind before gyms closed. Like I just hit like a 725 deadlift and I could barely deadlift 5 plates without having lower back pain like a couple of days ago. So yeah, I'm gonna see how everything goes in gradual increments. I should really not take for granted is that I have a beautiful gym setup. So why am I being an idiot and trying to push it when people are out there not even being able to train? So a lot has been going on with my thought process. So I went from like, I want to quit. I don't want to powerlift anymore. I don't want to do fitness anymore. Like all these mixed emotions coming through my mind. Sometimes you have to take your mind out of it because you're thinking about it way too much and kind of take like an autopilot approach into how you're doing things. I know it sounds super tacky, but powerlifting doesn't pay anything. There's no money in it. It's not a career option unless you start coaching. You make a decent sum of money from YouTube and stuff, but it's not really a career option. You have other obligations. It's not everything. When things are not going the best, maybe take your focus out of it, like a mental break, maybe even a physical break if you do get injured like myself. take time for yourself to regain momentum. I think momentum in powerlifting and lifting is extremely important. If you don't have momentum, it's going to be hard to get into a routine, and it's going to be hard to stay consistent with the gym. Regress to progress is a statement of taking one step back to taking 2 steps forward, building back your momentum from something that might hurt your ego in the short run, but it will boost your overall progression in the long run. As a lifter, that's something you need to really pay attention for, is coach yourself into putting yourself into the right mentality. Regress to progress. If you do have an injury, start slower, build back up your momentum. Peace.
Hi, mister. Dare you to be able to not have your toe in the picture?